Imagine for a second a deck of playing cards is taken and shuffled by a spectator, and then 2 cards are selected at random. These 2 cards are taken and then shuffled back into the deck. And then with some magic moves, the cards are produced. This trick is not for the lighthearted. Proceed with caution. What up, crew? It is Magic Monday, and this is your place to learn Magic, master your performance, and captivate audiences. If you're joining me for the first time, hey there, my name is Vineet, and I go by CardMechanic here on YouTube. The effect that I'm about to share with you, I consider to be an advanced version of a card production type trick. Not to say that each one of the individual moves that are done throughout this effect are difficult, but just combining them or chaining them together one after another is what makes this trick advanced. In my performance that I'll be showing you in a minute, I'll be doing this advanced card trick. But just so that there's something for everyone during my tutorial, I'll also be covering a simpler version of this trick. But keep in mind, simpler does not mean easy, so there will be a bit of work involved in learning that as well. And then once you learn that, you can kind of work your way up from there. So grab your deck, smash that like button, and subscribe, and now, let's do it. Alright, yo, so check this out for this card trick. We're going to be using the standard B playing cards. For those of you who are curious, one of my favorite decks of cards. We'll start off by having the deck shuffled by the spectator, not by me, but by the spectator. A little something like this, a little something like this. We can even do like a casino style wash if we want, although that's messy. It's going to be hard to clean up, but it's fine. It's fine. We'll pick it back up. But we're going to have 2 cards selected at random once the spectator is happy with their shuffling. So let's say they cut the deck twice, 1, 2, as fair as possible. First card is the Queen of Clubs, and the second card is the 3 of Spades. Not the easiest 2 cards to remember, but I'm going to ask you to remember them as much as you possibly can. 3 of Spades, Queen of Clubs. Take them, leave them here. I'll cut the deck like this, ask you where to stop. Let's say around here. We'll take these 2 cards, put them there, and we'll continue cutting the deck because we can. Sorry about the mess. I'm not the cleanest when it comes to cutting playing cards for some reason. Now, watch this. If I cut the deck at a random location, right underneath the Jack of Diamonds, I've actually been practicing shooting cards out of the center of the deck. So the card right underneath the Jack of Diamonds, watch, I'm going to shoot it out. Just like this, Jack of Diamonds, Queen of Clubs, right? Pretty impressive. Well, I mean, it's okay. But now I could have obviously just pre-cut that anywhere, and I could have just had the card stashed in that location. What I'm going to do is I'm going to riffle through the side, and as I'm riffling through, I want you to insert any one of your fingers right into the deck, and we're going to stop at that location. Okay, close enough. Let's try that one more time. Okay, right over here. The card we have, so right underneath the King of Hearts is the card we're going to try to shoot out. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. King of Hearts, and the other card is a 3 of Spades. Alright, yo, so welcome to the tutorial. Just to give you some background on this effect, it is actually something that I came up with because I wanted to put together techniques of false shuffles, card controls, and card productions. And I feel like this was a lot of fun for me to actually put together and a lot of fun to actually perform. So I wanted to share it with you guys, and yeah, hope you enjoy it as well. So given that background, let's go ahead and break it down. So one more thing, right? I spent a lot of time thinking about what I want to name this card trick, and I'm like, I have no idea what I want to name this card trick. So I ended up naming it the harder card production because I'm going to tell you, if you do not have good experience handling a deck of playing cards, this is not going to be an easy one to actually perform. So what I'm planning on doing is I'm going to do pretty much 2 tutorials. The first tutorial is going to break down the performance that I did in this video, and the second tutorial will be an easier method of doing this card trick that still involves a lot of these moves, but again, it's going to be a little bit easier. So that being said, now let's do this. All right, so starting off, I like to hand the deck over to the spectator and allow them to shuffle it up as much as they'd like. Maybe just something like that. Give it a couple of cuts because why not? And then we have them select 2 playing cards. So I think a great way to have spectators select 2 playing cards at random is to allow them to give the deck 2 cuts, and they can take the bottom 2 packets. So let's say this and this. And just to make our lives a bit easier so I don't forget what cards we have, I'm going to take the 2 black aces. All right, so we have the Ace of Spades and the Ace of Clubs. Let's say the spectator selected those 2 playing cards. Now, recently I made a video on a couple of strip cuts, doing a false strip cuts. So I highly encourage you to watch that video because I'm not going to break down the full tutorial in this video, but I will give you a quick tutorial. So starting off, right, we have the deck of playing cards. We're going to start by doing strip cuts, and strip cuts look something like this. You're pulling off the top packet of the entire deck and throwing it on top of each other. So what I like to do is I like to start by doing this, have a spectator call out stop. Once the spectator calls out stop, we have this packet here. I square it up, and we take the 2 selected cards and put them right there. Now we're going to continue doing the strip cuts, but as we do them, you'll see in my performance, my strip cuts were a bit sloppy. So what I did was I strip cut the next packet, but I slip cut it a bit to the left. So you can kind of see that there's going to be now a area where you can insert your thumb in, lift up, and you'll get to the 2 aces, right? So that's around here, right around here. And quickly, just at the same time after I do this, I just start piling cards one on top of the other, and I pretty much go in every which direction, so it doesn't seem like it's only that part that's sticking out. And of course, this is a bit exaggerated. I usually wouldn't go that far. So once that's done, now you have that break. So you take your thumb, right? You have that break right over here. You're gonna take your thumb and go to that spot. And as you lift up the cards here, you're gonna square everything up using your pinkies like this. And if you actually cut to that spot, again, we have the 2 aces. All right, so you're here, you have your thumb break. What are you gonna do now? Well, from here, I like to do a couple of block cuts. And the way the block cuts is gonna work, you see this bottom pile here, you're gonna break that bottom pile in half using these 3 fingers, middle, ring, finger, and thumb. And I have a tutorial on this as well, by the way, all in the same video. You're gonna break that packet in half, or as close to half as possible, bring that over to the top, and do that one more time, bring this over to the top as well. So it looks like you give it a couple of block cuts. Then you're gonna split the deck in half to give it a riffle shuffle. So you're gonna riffle the cards together. Make sure the 2 cards on the left-hand packet, or at least the way that I'm splitting it now, the way that I split it here, this is the original top packet in my non-dominant hand. So as I riffle, I make sure that I have at least these 2 cards on top of the deck. Then I square everything together. So that's the whole false shuffling aspect of this trick. And that gives us the 2 black aces. Going through that whole process one more time up to speed, we give it a couple of strip cuts like this, put the deck down when the spectator calls out stop, take those 2 cards, put them here, make sure to square up this packet, continue doing the strip cuts, make sure you misalign when you put the cards down, you do a couple of block cuts, pull apart, riffle, make sure you have the 2 on top, and there is your controlled aces. All you're going to be doing from this point on is the Boussen spin out to produce those playing cards, and I kind of wanted to add a little bit more, I guess, stuff to the entire performance. So that's why I kind of added the story of I've been practicing this move where I can produce cards from the center of the deck. So what I did was I separated these cards, or separated this deck in half, and I showed them this is the 4 of spades. I've been practicing shooting out this card. So I'm already bringing their attention that I'm going to shoot out this card right here at random. And here's where you perform the Boussen spin out. You come here, you get a thumb break. And by the way, I did make a tutorial on this. I'll put the link on the screen. You can go ahead and check it out. But all you're really doing is shooting out this top card. And just a very quick tutorial, when you're shooting out this top card, you're pulling this packet out like this, keeping this card here, and you're throwing that off. And that's pretty much what's going on. Of course, I'll give you the more in-depth tutorial will be linked to on the screen. But what I like to do from there is I like to say I'm going to shoot out this card right underneath the 4 of spades. I come close, I do the Boussen spin out, that card comes out, and then I take this card, I'll take this packet and put it face up like this, showing the spectator that it was underneath the 4 of spades, and we show the first card has been produced. Now I say, of course, I could have just pre-cut to any location that I control the card to, but I want to make this as random as possible. So here, I riffle through the side of the deck, and I'm going to ask the spectator just to insert their finger in anywhere they'd like, and we're going to make this as fair as possible. So they're doing that, insert the finger anywhere they'd like, let's just say around here, and we show the Queen of Diamonds, and we're going to try to shoot out this other card. Now, before you do this, you can give the deck another shuffle, just maintain that top card, which is what I usually like to do, but again, that's completely up to you. So riffle, they stop here, it's the 9 of spades, you're going to again repeat the Boussen spin out, get that break, line up that top card to be shot out, you shoot that out, put this face up to show that it was cut underneath the 9 of spades, and you do the second reveal for the 2 aces. So that is the more difficult version of this trick, but I did make a simpler version for those of you who are not super comfortable with these moves yet. Like I mentioned earlier, it still will require a bit of practice, but I think you can definitely get it down. So the way that I like to start this one off is I riffle through the deck like this, ask spectator when to stop. They say, let's say stop around here, and we have the 2 of hearts. I take this packet, put it on top of this one, show the 2 of hearts, turn this face down. Now, of course, this also requires some level of card control, but it's going to be a little easier. We're going to do the false block cuts, and the way that we're going to do them is grab a pile of cards from the bottom, right around half the deck, I'd say. Grab a pile from the cards from the bottom, around half the deck. Bring this out, over, around, And what I like to do again here is kind of misalign them like this. And now from the misaligned packet, I take half the bottom packet of the misaligned packet like this, put that on top. Again, this is all misaligned like this. And now you're gonna take that center packet like this and bring that to the top, maintaining this thumb break, because at this thumb break is a spectator selected card, the 2 of hearts. And like I mentioned, I have the tutorial for the block cuts and strip cuts on the same video. You can go ahead and check that out. Again, these are false or controlled block cuts and strip cuts. So what you're gonna do now is pull out this bottom packet like this. When you're shuffling, you wanna make sure this card ends up on top. There we go, the card has ended up on top. And again, you're gonna do the Benzea spin out to spin out this top card. And you can go with whatever techniques I mentioned earlier. You can have yourself say, I'm gonna shoot it from underneath the 6 of spades. You can have the spectator, or you can riffle it through like this, have the spectator put their finger in. I feel like adding the spectator interaction helps with the reaction at the end, but again, completely up to you. So let's just say we did that. Ace of hearts, the card's gonna be underneath the ace of hearts. We do the Benzea spin out, put this face down, or face up, my bad. And there's the selected card, the 2 of hearts. Now, if you thought that card trick was too easy and you want to see some more advanced stuff, click on this video right over here. And if you thought this was good enough, I'd highly encourage you to start practicing and then performing as soon as you can. Thanks so much for watching. As always, it's a pleasure having you here. Have a great day ahead, and I hope to see you in that video.